start at whenever you feel. At 5:30 is the meeting. We have 1 more minute, but I believe everybody is here. Yeah, I think everybody's here.
Great, thanks so much. Well, good evening, everyone. It is 5:30, so I would like to call our April 12th meeting of the Brownsville Public Library System Advisory Board to session. And as we have more folks joining us tonight for the discussion, just want to remind people to mute their microphones unless they're talking, just so we can kind of avoid some of the background noise. It's hard to hear. And then we also record these sessions. And thanks so much to Ms. Sosa, who very carefully types out our minutes. So speaking of minutes, the first item on our agenda after calling the meeting to order is a discussion and approval of the minutes from March. Did everyone receive their copy of the board minutes? And did anyone want to have a discussion about those? Okay, I will take that silence as no discussion or questions or corrections to the minutes. Can I have a motion for whether to proceed with the approval of the minutes as they are?
I would make a motion to approve the minutes and the corrected amended minutes.
Thank you. And do we have a motion to second?
I would like to second.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so the minutes are approved with the amendments. Thank you very much. And I checked with Maribel right before our meeting, and she informed me that we didn't have anyone apply for public comment tonight. So we could proceed directly to the library report, which Mr. Guerra is going to give us this evening.
Yes, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to welcome everyone to the meeting. I'm glad to see you. I believe some people from the task force are here. Also some people from Leadership Brownsville, I believe. So welcome to our meeting. My name is Juan Jose Guerra. And as of March 29th, my official title got changed from head librarian / director of library services to library services director. And if you recall in previous meetings, I stated, we talked about the library under the Public Information Services Department. That department, after the resignation of the director, Mr. Hitchcock, that department basically was done away with, and the library became its own department within the city. And so therefore, months passed, and Mr. Bernal and the administrative team made it official, putting me in charge and renaming me as the library services director. And again, I humbly accept this position. And again, nothing has changed other than a good mentality moving forward, and excited to work with the task force, obviously excited to work with the board and for the things to come. So address any questions you might have. Again, it's just informative. Is there anybody? I can move on to section B, which is library utilization. March 15th, after almost a year, we opened back to officially in person to our patrons. Obviously, we started after closure. We started with curbside service and virtual programming. But March 15, we started opening up as a soft block schedule with the pilot hours. We started with 34 hours, and then 2 weeks after that, we increased our hours from 34 to 48. Keep in mind that the same hours at the main branch, at the Southmost branch. And hopefully, God willing, starting on Monday, we're going to be open full-fledged, no more block hours, up to 67 hours, not only at the main branch, but the Southmost branch. The only thing is we're going to be doing it at a 50% capacity initially, and then hopefully after that, hopefully soon after that, we can be at 100%. And obviously, it goes without saying that it all depends on the COVID issues, but we so far at 25% capacity, we have not reached that issue where we had to either people be waiting or we have to keep people out. But we're gonna be going again full-fledged 6 to 7 hours at each our libraries at 50% capacity, and hopefully that will go smooth. That will help the patrons get used to this, and then also our staff get used to it. Any questions on that? One silver lining to this, I'm sorry, I forgot to say, is that one silver lining to the COVID is that obviously we had curbside and virtual programming. That is going to continue moving forward no matter what happens, and we go back to quote unquote normal. Our curbsides are going to stay. That will help our patrons, make it more convenient for them. In fact, patrons sometimes they're going to come and pick up a book, don't want to get off their car. So that's going to continue. It's not going to go away, and so let's look at a positive on that. And our virtual programming will continue to. Any questions? Okay, and then Mr. Chase will be, yes. Okay, no question? Okay, Chase is going to talk about Easter under the canopy. Chase is one of our librarians.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Chase Sant, and for anyone who's new, I am a librarian with the Brownsville Public Library System. Thank you so much for allowing my time here. Last month, March 26th and March 29th, we hosted the system, our very first Easter Under the Canopy program. We did this program in lieu of our regular Easter program just because we wanted to make sure that the patrons still receive the same type of program and impact that we normally have in the past, but in a safe and convenient way. So on the 26th, we hosted our program at the Southmost branch, and then on the 29th, we hosted it at the main branch. Between the 2 days, we had a total of 977 participants attend the event. So that was a really successful event for us, and we were super excited. And we wanted to make sure we also give a shout out again to the Friends of the Library for their contribution because they helped make this event successful and stuff like that. So to all the staff and everything, kudos to them.
Any questions?
This is Mrs. Ayala. I want to know what is the process that you use for this Easter drive-through? Since this is so new, I'm just not familiar with what has been implemented.
Yep, so we wanted to make sure that we took into the consideration of time, but also, like I said, the safety of not only the patrons that came to the event, but the safety of the staff that were helping out. So it was kind of a drive-through process in the sense that we kept it under the canopy, so that's where the name came with. We got a little snazzy-jazzy with that. But then the process was we had different stations set up where they would stop at one station, they would collect an item, they would go to the next station, collect an item, and kind of keep going that process moving forward. And so they were interacting with the staff the whole time. And then when they got to the canopy portion, that's where the Easter Bunny was there, and we were able to take a photo from a safe distance. The patrons stayed in the car, and the Easter Bunny kind of got to the side of the vehicle, to the window, and we're able to take the picture with the children or the whole family or whoever wanted to attend the photo.
Now, is this something similar to what we did with the Christmas? Did the kids get to keep the picture?
So correct. So this is similar to our Christmas under the canopy, and what we did so that we made sure that people could access the photos. That very night, we actually posted all the photos that we took to our Facebook, where patrons were able to go and download. At any point, if a patron, for instance, did not have access to Facebook, they could let us know in that moment, and we would actually shoot them a text message with the picture to make it easy convenience for them, making sure that we are providing proper accessibility to all patrons.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't have a question. Thanks so much, Chase, for giving that overview. If anyone follows Brownsville Public Library System on Instagram or Facebook, they do post in the stories some of these events, and so they can really be helpful to understanding sort of what the flow is and see the costume for the Easter Bunny, and it really sounds like it was a successful event. So thanks so much to everybody, Friends of the Library, for contributing to that, and for the staff, as always, for planning this event and carrying it out so seamlessly.
Okay, we're gonna move on. TSLAC annual report. TSLAC is the Texas State Library and Archives Commission, and as a director of the library, I have to submit an annual report, our library utilizations, all the statistics regarding to what people are using. It's an array of programming, Wi-Fi, how many books are checked out, how many books in the collection. But also, it also discussed the financial part of it. And basically, we have to spend a certain amount of money per capita that we serve. And this year, due to COVID, like every other year, the library has always been accredited. But this year, because of COVID, obviously we were closed 6 months of the year, of the last fiscal year, which we're always a fiscal year behind when we report. Therefore, our expenditures were down, mostly in staffing, because there was hiring freeze plus vacancies before the hiring freeze. So the expenditures were down, not up to par to what the state expected us because of COVID. So therefore, we submitted for a waiver. We were not the only ones in the state. A lot of libraries, high percentage of libraries submitted for this waiver, so we can be maintained accredited for the next year. And more than likely, next year will be the same thing because it will cover the other 6 months that we were closed. With this waiver, we will be accredited, which we are eligible to accept and apply and be accredited grants and E-rate. But again, although it's beyond our control with this COVID, it does feel down that we weren't accredited. Again, we've had a long run. We've always been accredited, but obviously COVID was unexpected. But we're gonna hopefully next year be better. So I just wanted to report to the board.
When is the library going to be open, or do you anticipate it would be open to 50%, or do you have a plan in place?
The library starts opening at 50% starting on Monday. And hopefully soon after that, we will open up at 100%. It all depends on the figures with COVID. We're doing it slowly within the city. We have a reopening plan along with our department. So we've started opening March 15th at 25% block hours. As of today, we have 48 hours at 25%, and starting on Monday, we're going to be having 67 hours of operation, which is the maximum that we have, and 50%, and hopefully soon after that, it'll be 100%.
I had a couple of comments about the TSLAC report, the annual process, because I reviewed it and had some questions for Mr. Guerra about some of the reporting. So I just wanted to make a note that TSLAC does require the reporting system-wide for expenditures. And they do ask for system-wide reporting statistics on programming and circulation and things of that nature. The information that's provided on the branch level is related mainly to the hours of operation, location, things of that nature. So I just wanted to make that distinction about what that report entails.
Thank you, Ms. Anderson. Thank you forgot to mention that. The system-wide. The same thing like for Houston, they have over 30 branches. They just provide overall expenditures and overall utilization. It's not divided by branches.
Great, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Were there any questions or comments about the library services director's report before we move on? Okay, so tonight we're also going to be talking about the library's mission and vision statement, and I understand that Ms. Brenda Trevino is going to present on this tonight.
That's correct.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry, there were announcements going on, so I was waiting for that to finish so I could go ahead and unmute. Our library leadership team recently came together to analyze our mission and vision statements, and we came to the conclusion that we needed to update these statements to reflect who we currently are and who we envision ourselves to be in the future. So with that in mind, and after doing some research as well as brainstorming and discussing, we did come up with the statements that you're seeing listed here on the slide. And so our new mission statement is: the Brownsville Public Library System thrives to inspire lifelong learning, advance knowledge, and to strengthen our communities within the library and beyond. And our new vision statement is: the Brownsville Public Library System will foster an inclusive, a vibrant, informed, and empowered community. So I don't know if you have any questions.
Thanks so much, Ms. Brenda. I think we're starting to see more and more libraries add diversity and inclusivity statements. So I'm glad that we're keeping up with the trend. I think we probably feel as librarians it goes without saying, but you know, not everyone has a librarian's mind, so we have to. They can't read our minds anyway, so we've got to put it out there. So great job on that.
Thank you. It was a team effort.
Yes. In fact, I attended a diversity and inclusivity conference just recently, and one of the things that you may start to notice is that folks are now introducing themselves as being on recognizing whatever tribal land they are reporting from. So, so that may be next steps for all of us. Thanks so much. Okay, so another attachment that we got in today's or Friday's email is related to the new library newsletter. And Kayla, were you here to talk about that this evening?
Hey everyone, yes, I'm here to talk about it. For those who don't know me, I'm Kayla. I'm one of the newer librarians here with Brownsville Public Library, and I have been working on BPL Monthly, our first newsletter. So the very first one that we sent out was on April 1st, and we were able to send this one to all the BISD librarians. And for May, we want to include the Harmony Public Schools IDEA and Jubilee Academy. And then just based on some feedback that I got from one of the librarians, we are going to start including our activity calendar for the month. Can y'all hear that? Is that me? there's some feedback. Okay. So yeah, so we're gonna start including our activity calendar as well as the.
Shannon, I went ahead and muted everybody to take care of that for you guys. So just one by one, as you're speaking, unmute should solve your issue.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just go through them again really quickly. So April 1st was our first newsletter, and that was sent to all the BISD librarians. The May newsletter will also include the Harmony Public Schools, IDEA, and Jubilee Academy. And then we are also going to start including our activity calendar for the month, just because one of the librarians responded to me and asked if I had an activity calendar, and I was like, well, that's a pretty good idea, so we're going to start including that as well, so they can print those out and share them with the students. And then I also included I included the newsletter that I actually sent out. That's on the next slide. So it ended up being kind of lengthy. I think it's like 7 pages. But basically, I gave just like a quick blurb on our reopening. I listed what our policies were in regards to physical distancing and the temperature check. And then back. Okay, and you can just kind of click through them, Maribel. I covered Easter under the canopy. That's our group picture there from our main night. And then I put our new hours, our new checkout update that we have, our circulation policy. And then our check out our librarian and our virtual programs. And then these are like some of our unique programming. So the Let's Get Cooking and Science days, these were on specific days, so I included those like that. And then our digital resources, and then we said we were going to highlight one resource a month. So this month was Knowledge City. And then we had a Pokemon contest in February, so I thought it'd be fun to include the pictures of our winners. And then finally at the bottom, just our social media links. So yeah, that was our newsletter for April. And I'll get started on May here pretty soon.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, Kayla. Were there any comments or questions about the newsletter?
Yes.
Oh, I kind of lost everyone. I can't hear anything.
Shannon, I think you're on mute.
I noticed that there are 2 instances of Ms. Ayala's login, and I think she may have had a question. While we're waiting for her, Maribel, do you mind going back to the newsletter page that had the photos from the Easter under the canopy? Great, thank you so much. So this is kind of what I was talking about for folks following on social media, that they could get some idea of how this is set up. And thank goodness there is a canopy to allow for this distribution. Okay, do we have Miss Ayala back to ask her question about the newsletter? All right, not yet. So, so Kayla, you got some feedback that the teachers wanted a calendar set up of the events and programs.
Yeah, so it was actually just one of the librarians who responded, and she asked for like an activity calendar. And so I was like, okay, yeah. So we put together one. We had one set up. It just wasn't, cute or anything. So we put one together, and we were able to send it out to her. And then we thought for the future, it'd be good to include it with the newsletter. That way they can print them out and hand them out to the students, or put them up somewhere so everyone can see them.
Yeah, great idea. Thank you so much for your presentation. Okay, I think that Miss Ayala's back and she has a question. Yes. We can hear you. Go ahead.
All right, no, I had a question for Kayla. Kayla, I was a little bit concerned when you're communicating with the librarians, who you're going through, because apparently there's not a follow through in the fantastic information that you want to give. So I know that we have Ms. Peña right now, and I know the committee met, and that's how we're going to try to improve communication between BISD and what is going on. So who was it that you contacted with BISD?
So the emails for all the school librarians are available on the website. It's in their school directory. So you can actually just download or, copy and paste all the emails from the BISD website. And so we kind of used that to just create a contact list for them. And the way we sent the email was we have a general Brownsville Public Library email. It's just bpl@brownsvilletx.gov. So that's the one that I use to send it out, and they can respond to that email. And we all
And
have
have you
access to it.
respond to it? Have you gotten
Yes.
any feedback?
Yes, they can respond to it.
No, but have you gotten any feedback from the
Oh,
information?
any feedback? No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No,
No, it was just that one librarian who wanted a monthly calendar, but nothing else from anybody else.
well, no, because I believe that what the committee is working on, and I talked to Dr. Salceda in charge of the curriculum department, that we are going to set up a meeting to improve that communication. So, so you can get more of this information that you have for them, which would be great to start this line of communication. So just bear with us until we can set up this meeting.
Right, yes, we've been waiting for that meeting as well. Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Ayala. Did you have any other questions for Rachel tonight, anyone? Excuse me, for Kayla? No? Okay. Thanks again. And members of the advisory board, we did get copies of that in our email so we can look at it a little bit closer. I think it's great to share those photos. People love to see people engaging with library activities. So
I guess, I'm sorry, I did have a question. And I can't remember, was there a discussion about the newsletter being distributed publicly, or was it just, I don't remember what the discussion was on that. Are you all planning on distributing it in any other way other than electronically? Or do you even have money to do that? I don't know.
As far as I know, it was going to be electronically, and we have been sort of talking about opening it up to the public. So I have been talking to Leo about that and seeing how we could do that for them, for the patrons, maybe post it on our Facebook page or something so they can all sign up, submit their email and sign up for the newsletter.
Yeah. Is there like a plan currently in place, I guess, to get that going as far as, well, I know this is your first one. It looks great, by the way.
Thank you. So no, we don't have a hard and fast plan yet, but we are working on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you, Ms. Sosa. Yeah, and I don't think that we did cover that last meeting, so thanks for that question. That's helpful. Okay, so moving on from the library newsletter, we have Leo, who's going to be presenting on the library task force. Welcome to our members who may be joining us this evening.
Good evening, everybody. Leo Rodriguez here, librarian with the Brownsville Public Library System, and I am very excited, enthusiastic to have already met with most of the task force members. I believe some of them are joining us today, so we definitely want to welcome them today. Today is about introducing whoever is here present to you, the library board, and of course to the library staff. So if any of the task force members are present, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you all for having us. This is Geraldo Estrada, incidentally, and really, this has been quite a promising venture that's been started. So thank you all for the trust.
Thank you, Mr. Estrada.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Veronica. I'm super excited to be on the task force. I've loved the public library since I was small. I remember I used to use my mom's card and my dad's card so I could check out 21 books instead of the 7. So I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you, Veronica.
Welcome.
Miss Lilia, are you present?
I think that Miss Berta Peña was trying to speak, but I think her microphone might have been muted. Do you want to try again?
Yes, Miss Peña, I believe you're on mute.
I want to give you all a lot of, can you hear me now?
Now we can hear. Go ahead, Miss Berta.
Hello, everybody. My name is Berta Peña, and it's a real honor to be part of this library task force. I'm a former assistant superintendent for the Brownsville Independent School District, and this is my passion. And I just feel that what you're doing is phenomenal work that you're doing. I especially at your meeting loved listening about the newsletter. I think that we could do so much more. What I'd like to ask is, as a task force member, I'd like to help work with a strategic plan. I saw your mission and I saw your vision, and that's a start to great things. You're already doing it. We can just take it to another level. But my forte is short-term, long-term goals. I feel like we can work with elementary activities and goals as far as the college. We, as a team, all of the members, we talked about perhaps maybe even hosting college courses at the university courses offered at the library, because you have access to everything there. I don't want to hog up all the time, but I just want to say I'm very impressed, and I'm ready to pull up my sleeves and roll them up and get to work. Thank you for having me.
Thank
And
you, Miss
Leo, you're the
Peña.
best.
Thank you so much, Miss Peña. Thank you for being here. Miss Lilia?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lilia. Also, happy to join the task force. I'm, hoping that we can help in any way that we can. My background is in social work, mental health as well. So I had very good use of the library when I was working with Tropical. It was accessible to us, so that's really appreciated. So I'm here to help in any way we can.
Thank you, Lilia. Do we have any other task force members present? Okay, I believe not then. Maribel, next slide, please. All right, so I just wanted to put this in here in writing so we are all in an equal understanding of where the library task force scope and structure will be. So of course, they will be assessing community needs and developing recommendations to the library staff, the library director, and the library board. The task force will begin officially today, since they are meeting all of you today. And they will be, as we discussed previously, they will be presenting their work progress after 45 days and at the end of the 3 months that the library task force will be active for. And the next slide, I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to the task force. We did have a brief introductory meeting a couple of weeks ago just to kind of give them the scope and the structure. And I did ask them to kind of jot down any questions, any formal questions, so they can present it to the library director and the library board. So library task force, you may do so at this time if you have any.
Hi, yes, we had a few questions. A few of us met on Saturday, and I guess the main theme that we touched on is how are we going to measure the task force success? Like, what's the ideal scenario after the 3 months that you would want us to have accomplished?
Leo, you want to take it or you want me to take it?
Go ahead, Juan.
Okay, you can always chime in. How we measure, obviously, utilization. We can see if there's been a increase, but also maybe do a survey and to see what they how they feel about it. Again, there's many ways. Again, this is something new, so the most important thing is that we convey that we're here to provide the best services, but also that we took everybody into consideration. It's not only always our ideas, but the community's ideas. And how about you tell us how we convey it? Again, I think the results will say for itself. Obviously, that for the first time, I believe we are going to be very inclusive. So that in itself, it's a win. So how do you measure? It's just happiness, utilization, or a combination of everything like that. And again, very excited, as Leo said. So looking forward to it. Leo, you want to add something?
Right. I'm sorry, Shannon. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, I'm so glad that Leo is going to be helping out and guiding the task force on this. It's a really good question about measurable outcomes, and libraries have built in already some stats. We kind of talked about them earlier in terms of visits, program attendance, circulation statistics. So there's a lot that you could use that is already being captured. And of course, as Juan mentioned, you know, surveys are another great tool. But you know, the goals that you set will really determine how they're measured. And I think because you all have volunteered to be this first class of an iteration of the library task force, we really want you to be creative. And you know, sometimes it seems like there's so much, many directions that you could go. But I think probably narrowing in on something early on will help you with the direction going forward. So we want to make ourselves available to you as the library board to answer questions, and certainly library staff is so helpful. But I would say that there are some statistics that are already captured that could help you with measuring your results.
Great, thank you.
Task force members, any other questions?
Actually, yeah. Hi, this is Christina Garza. Can y'all hear me? I called in an audio earlier and I don't know. I don't think y'all could hear me.
We can hear you, Christina. Hi,
Okay,
welcome.
great. Hi. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Guerra. Thank you, Ms. Spencer, Mr. McCoy for hosting. So I'm calling, well, my question, one of the things that was brought up over the weekend in the meeting was, why did y'all start the task force? Was there something that you saw in another city or another initiative that kind of inspired this task force? Something that you'd like to see done similarly?
So I think when I was speaking to Juan about Mr. Guerra about the task force and kind of the mission, right, the scope and the structure, this really came about through total alignment, and I think I touched base a little bit with the members, the task force members when I first met with them about it. But over the last 2.5 years, the city of Brownsville has undergone various changes that have stemmed from the new culture that we're trying to build and that we are living in right now. So that is total alignment, and it's really about empowering community members to take action, to take lead in where they hope their city is going to be. So this really came about from the culture that we're trying to build to empower those the users and the community members.
Okay. Cool.
And Ms. Garza, I know that you are very much a user, so that's why I'm glad that you're part of this, because I know that you dare I say you're a bit critical, and I like that, and you're also a user. You bring your kids over, so looking forward to not only your
Yeah,
opinion, but
we
any
definitely
recommendations.
appreciate the library system for sure, and big fans. And I think this last year has just been, um, a bigger case for libraries and for the services that y'all provide. So thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Christina. Task force members, any other questions?
Leo.
And Leo, this is
Yes, go
Berta
ahead.
Peña.
Yes, Ms. Peña, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to just reiterate, we already have a plan of action. Do we have a strategic plan for the libraries, and you're using input from the public to augment it, to update it for the future? And I feel that that's an excellent idea. I'd also like to know if, my question is, are you going to use this, and when? Some of the activities that we come up with, some of the goals or objectives that we would like to suggest and recommend. Well, how soon will this plan of action be in place, and what do you see as the future?
Okay, yes. Go ahead, Mr. Gunn.
Yeah, Ms. Peña, we would like to move as soon as we can, because that's why the task was created. Obviously, there could be, maybe we could prioritize what's first, what's second, what third, and if something involves a little bit of financial, we plan accordingly. But we definitely want to move on any idea that you have. It's just a matter of strategically which is the top priority, and then so. But we don't want to discard anything that you guys suggest. We just want to make sure that we do it in a proper order on the sense of priority that we can all come together with. But definitely all the ideas, we welcome the ideas. That was the whole intention
Yes,
of the task
we
force.
want to feel valued, and we want to
Most
bring you
definitely.
value. And Mr. Guerra, I think you have the right task force, because everyone on that team are so energetic and ambitious, and they want to see the library as a hub of learning in Brownsville that defines, the learning capability for all children.
I do agree, and again, when we decided to do the task force, it was just a lot of excitement, because from a different point of view, and we are going to move on again, logistically, strategically, depending on priorities. But I believe everything that you guys can suggest, I think we can do it in the proper order of importance and financial, but definitely. And I'm looking forward to working with you. I really, from the bottom of my heart, de todo corazón, I'm looking forward to this.
Gracias.
Thank you, Ms.
Juan,
Peña.
can you maybe clarify, because we know what total alignment is, and Leo did speak to it, but that is your strategic plan. Is that correct? The strategic plan for the city, and the library then has its own portion of planning. Is that correct?
On your mute.
Sorry. Total alignment is an internal, when we had our new city manager 2 years ago, instilled as far as our staff and how we work together. Well, then total alignment also with our patrons, which is the end user, that we're in this together, because we're doing this for our patrons. But sometimes we need to see it from their point of view, because we might think, sort of like I always say to the staff, sometimes you just cannot proofread your own paper. You need somebody else to proofread it for you. And this is where the task force is. So we really believe in this. something new. We're very excited. I know we keep saying it, but it's something new. And Ms. Peña, I see the passion and the task force. The fact that you met over the weekend, like wow, it wasn't like that says it all. You know, so we believe it, we want to live it, and this is only the beginning. So yeah, uh, yeah, total alignment is for our staff, but we want to convey it also to our patrons that they too feel ownership. Hey, I was part of this. So I don't know if that answers your question, Miss Shannon.
I would like to, I'm very excited about this task force because I now see I visited with Leo. I'm very impressed with that young man. Uh, the alignment that's occurring between both libraries, Juan, the tremendous improvement in the Southmost Library, and I know that you're working on that, and with Ms. Peña's expertise on that board, that's her forte. It was curriculum. I mean, it's wow, you are going to be wonderful. Everybody that I heard today has just tremendous ideas, and congratulations. And we will continue improving for the kids. We're all about kids. We're all here for the community to serve them. And I'm glad we have such great members in this committee.
I have one more question before we end the task force portion of the meeting, if that's okay. The only question I have is Mr. Rodriguez was very helpful and provided us a lot of calendar items for events that are happening at the library and events that have happened and events, I guess, that are planned. My only question to help kind of like narrow our scope of work and just identify, I guess, the key projects is to know, are there any surveys that have been done that are available to us now in terms of like the demographic of the patrons, or the library needs, like what, I guess, parts of the library get used the most? Is it like the actual physically checking out the books, or computer services, or any kind of breakdown of that kind of information? Is any of that available that we could review?
The only thing that could remotely answer the question would be part of the annual report where we see the utilization, how much is checked out. We can even go and we can there's a reports where what percentage of items are checked out by genre or by physicality. That we can provide also, but the annual report says a lot about what is being used and all that. So that, I don't know if that helps. We can run reports as you request, like what the highest, let's say if it's kids' books are being checked out more than adults. We can run different reports depending on what can be requested, yes.
And that would include also like community programs held at the library as well? Okay, cool.
Even programs, and also by age. The state asks us how many adult programs, how many teenage programs, and how many kids programs.
Okay.
Not only the number of programs, but also the number of attendants in those types of programs. Yes.
Awesome.
And again, I can share I can share the one that is actually since 2019. That should be in the annual. I can share the link to the public libraries
Okay.
statistics right there, and you can see how it's broken down, how many items we have. It's very detailed, even up to how many librarians we have, how many hours of operation we have. It's broken down in different circulations per capita, all that kind of. But it's keep in mind that that's more, as Ms. Shannon mentioned, that's more of a system wide. As far as internally, we can provide specific by library what is checked out and all that. But that we can run reports individually if you wish.
I mean, I definitely don't want to overload y'all with requests, but it would be helpful in figuring out what to do next. So thank you.
Sure, whatever it is that you would like, just relate it to Mr. Leo, and he can provide it for you, most definitely. Again, because we all have the same drive to improve and to do better.
Thank y'all so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much for that question. I think you were maybe asking more about surveys, which tends to imply feedback the community. Is that kind of where you were going with it? Yeah. So that's a little different. But I would say that, you know, that is something for the task force to even consider, is because, as we keep mentioning, information is the statistics are recorded system-wide, you know, having some type of a survey. Of course, you have to be careful with those because internal review boards, whatever you're using, human subjects. But certainly, you know, feedback anonymously from people on what they're liking, what they're using. You know, social media also offers so many opportunities for having polling and things like that that are more informal but still provide you a lot of information. So those types of campaigns are something even that the task force could consider. It wouldn't necessarily have to be, you know, a boots on the ground kind of an implementation. But those kinds of things, you know, how many folks know about one of the new services with asking a librarian and chatting via the SpringShare product for that, and maybe launching some kind of a campaign to let people know that they're available, and then measuring your statistics before the campaign and then measuring them after would give you a really good indication of engagement. Because I think that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about community task force, is we're talking about engagement and making sure that what the library is doing is reaching the people it's intended to reach. And that we're also fulfilling the gaps. So you may find some gaps in service or gaps in resources or representation. And certainly those are things that we would want to know about as a board and as library staff. So thanks
Definitely.
so much for your question. It's a good one. Well, were there any other questions for anyone here from the library task force? We really appreciate you all. I know that the board was very impressed by the wide-ranging backgrounds of all of you who applied, and we set the service time at 90 days because we are just so respectful of the fact that you're all leading very productive professional and personal lives. And so, you know, we didn't want you to feel like you had been sentenced to something by volunteering to participate. And so that's why it's sort of a briefer window, but we did talk about, as a task force, the option to extend and things like that. So really, it's just kind of exploring to see what can happen in that period, what kinds of things we can help you with. So thanks so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, were there any final questions, comments before I ask for the motion for adjournment tonight?
I feel a lot more confident with this information and the, you know, the conversation. So thank you.
Daddy. All right, well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. If there's nothing else, then do we have a motion to adjourn tonight?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And a second from anyone?
I second that motion.
Thanks so much. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a good evening, and we'll see you next month.
Stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.